Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Battlefield 5 Open Beta on the GeForce GTX 750 Ti. I'll be doing 1080p, 900p and 720p. To skip to those sections of the video, check the timestamps down in the description. So first of all, I'll show you 1080p targeting 60 frames per second, and unfortunately it's not possible to maintain that frame rate target consistently. I have to use the lowest settings with textures on medium, and I also overclock the GTX 750 Ti only on 1080p. On the other two resolutions, the overclock is disabled. Then I show you another configuration on 1080p targeting 30 frames per second, which means that I crank up the settings trying to get better visuals without dropping below 30 frames per second. Then on 900p and 720p I'll do exactly the same thing, trying to be close to 60 frames per second. Then a configuration targeting 30, and after all that on the i3-8100 I'll show you the G4560, and on this game there is a big difference between these two CPUs. So on the G4560 I'll show you 1080p targeting 60 frames per second, and the same on 720p, so you have an idea on what's going on. Since on 1080p we're getting below 50 frames per second due to the GPU, the G4560 doesn't have much of a problem maintaining that, but there are some extra stutters. And at 720p the difference between this and the i3 are very clear. The GPU usage is quite low and we get drops below 60 frames per second very often, but I'll talk more about that in a second. Remember, this is a beta, so the final game should be different. That's why in this video I won't be doing much analysis on the options menu. I'll just tell you what options gave me the best performance by lowering them, and after that I'll talk to you about CPUs. So lighting effects and post-process quality, those options were the ones that gave me the biggest performance hit. I recommend lowering them in groups. Then ambient occlusion is also a performance hit. If you turn it off, you should be getting a lower hit on the GPU. And then the other options I didn't mention, like terrain, undergrowth and mesh quality, I recommend lowering them in groups as well. But one or two options above the lighting effects and post-process quality that you selected. Those were the ways that I got to get the best results, and I recommend using DirectX 11. DirectX 12 is a stuttery mess right now. So far this game is very CPU intensive. In order to get consistent frame rates very close to 60, you need at least a quad-core CPU. I played using an i3-8100, G4560 and i5-8400, and so far the i3-8100 was enough to maintain 60 frames per second most of the time, with some drops every now and then when there are a lot of explosions on screen. It usually stays over 50 frames per second, so yeah, it's a very decent experience, at least in my opinion. Then with the G4560, which is a 2-core 4-thread CPU, the game runs significantly worse. So be aware of that if you have a dual core with hyperthreading, since I got drops into the 30s, sometimes below 30 frames per second, and with the i5-8400 I was able to maintain 60 frames per second much more consistently than the i3. So yeah, we get more cores there, which helps in this case. And it's also important to have more than 8GB of system RAM. The game was over 8GB of usage all the time, with all the systems I tested. It sometimes hit 9GB, so yeah, my recommendation here, have more than 8GB of RAM and in dual channel. That in this game is very important, just like on Battlefield 1. But yeah, expect a video once this game fully releases with more details and all the usual stuff. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
All the objectives are now controlled by the enemy. Alle Position verloren! Schlag zurück! Verdammt! Weiter feuern! Ich muss nachladen!
Achtung! Ladung bereit!
Objective Caesar is ours. Du bist gerettet, verdammt! So freundlich! Objective Anton. We need to capture and hold as many objectives as possible.
Granate ist in der Luft.
Ist einer von uns? We have lost objective Emil. We have now taken...
Soldat am Boden! Ich habe eine Granate für Sie.
We have taken objective Emil.
Achtung! Ziel eingenommen! Helft mir! Irgendwer! Ihr müsst mir
We
helfen!
have now taken objective Bertha.
Hilfe jetzt!
Stay alert, objective Caesar is lost.
Willkommen zurück, Soldat!
We are now losing objective Anton. Objective Dora is ours.
Auf die Bewaffnung kannst du stolz sein!
Objective Emil has been lost, soldiers.
Wo hast du gesteckt? Handgranate geworfen!
Sanitäter! Objective Bertha is ours!
ganz erwischt! Hilf mir!
Well done, we have taken objective Caesar. Objective Dora has been lost.
Verdammt! Der Feind hat das Ziel erobert! Ich weiß niemanden! Tot! Bis zum letzten Atemzug.
No, we have lost objective Emil. Objective Dora is now ours. Be alert, objective Caesar has been lost.
Ich bin getroffen! Hilf mir!
Attention, objective Caesar has been lost.
Weiche nicht von meiner Seite.
We have taken objective Emil. Attention, we have lost objective Emil.
Scheiße! Scheiße, helft mir!
Objective Anton has now been lost. We have now taken Objective Beta. All the objectives are our soldiers.
Sie rennt nicht mehr durch!
Objective Dora has been lost.
Ich bin getroffen! Hilf mir!
We are now losing Objective Anton.
Bring mich hinter uns! Ich habe eine Granate für Sie.
Well done, we have taken Objective Caesar. Well done, we have taken Objective Emil.
Jetzt kommt eine Granate!
Objective Dora has been lost. Objective Dora is now our soldiers.
Sie erobert! Smoke break! Help! Ich sterbe! Helft mir!
Listen, soldiers, we are losing Objective Dora.
Ich brauche Sanitäter!